Just breathe in, breathe out. Can you please calm down? Don't make it a big deal if it isn't a big deal. You're making this hard.
My Kala instruments really are the stars of the show on this track. They laid the foundation and made the whole thing come together so easily. I have two Kala instruments that I used on this track. I used the solid spruce top striped ebony tenor ukulele, as well as the striped ebony Acoustic-Electric U-bass with shadow EQ. And I want to show you guys exactly how I worked with them in my studio, so let's go. So when I sat down to produce this track, I knew I wanted it to sound super happy and fun and upbeat, and I knew I wanted the ukulele to be the heart of it all. So when I got into my studio here and I was planning everything out, the very first thing I did was lay down the main ukulele part. It sounds like this. That is the backbone of the whole song. That's the foundation that I built off of to get the final track. So once I had that part done, I added a scratch vocal on top of it just so I could work around it and really build up the track and make sure I wasn't interfering with the vocal. But the next instrument part that I added was actually another ukulele track that's a percussive element. So what I did is I took the ukulele and I kind of did a muted strum type thing so that it almost sounds like percussion, but it's actually the ukulele. So let me play you what that sounds like. So that just adds such a fun element to it. I feel like it makes it sound so percussive and rhythmic and cool, and it just adds a really cool flavor. So listen to how those two parts sound together. So that's literally just one instrument with two parts, and it already started sounding how I wanted it to in my head. I just wanted it to be super fun and catchy and just something that made you want to dance. So once I had that ukulele part done with the scratch vocal, I went in to do drums just to really amp up the song and just make it full and awesome sounding. So here is what it sounded like with the full drums added in. So it was starting to sound how I wanted it to, and it was getting fuller, but I still needed a lot more, obviously. So then, after I had that, one of my favorite parts of the production process of this song was using the U-bass, because it worked so well with the ukulele part I already had, and just the sound of it is so awesome. So let me play you what the U-bass track sounds like. So that's the U-bass by itself, and I think that is such a great bass sound. It's just so full and it makes it sound so warm, and it molded together with the existing parts I had so well. It didn't even require any EQ or anything like that. So I'm super happy with the U-bass. It's so fun to play. I feel like it's just such a cool little instrument. I'm so glad I had it for this track. So let me play you what it sounded like with the U-bass and everything else I already had on top of it. So you can hear how already the U-bass just glued everything together and really made it sound like a full track. But it still wasn't quite where I wanted it to be. I had a few more things I wanted to add. So once I got to this part, it was really the creative elements that I think really made it come together and what it was in the end. So once I was at this part, I added electric guitar, I added slide, I added harmonies, I added some more percussion like claps and things like that. So once I had that, here's how that all sounded.
Breathe in, breathe out. Can you please calm down? Don't make it a big deal if it isn't a big deal. You're making this.
So that was pretty close to where I wanted the song to be, and that's before mixing and mastering and everything like that. So just raw parts, I was pretty happy with it. But once I got to the instrumental part, it just sounded kind of bare, and I wanted something to fill that space and just make it sound full, you know? So once I got to that part, here's what it sounded like without the solo I ended up adding. So I think it sounds really good how it is, but it kind of sounds empty, like I want something in there, some kind of instrumental solo. So then I started messing around with some electric guitar solos. I wasn't happy with that, no matter what sound I got, whether it was a clean sound or a distorted sound, I wasn't happy with it. And then I messed around with a slide solo that I also wasn't happy with. It just didn't work, it didn't feel right. And I was kind of wondering what I was going to fill that space with, and then I got the idea to add a ukulele solo, which I don't know why I didn't have that idea in the first place, but I tried that and it ended up being exactly what I was looking for, so I'm going to play you how that sounds. So that is exactly what I wanted it to be in my head, and the ukulele sound worked so well. I was kind of worried. I thought it was going to get buried. I thought it wasn't going to come out clear enough in the mix, but it ended up being perfect. And it was cool because I added another ukulele track to the whole thing. So it really ended up being my ukulele song, which I think is so cool. So once I had everything recorded, then it was time to go to mixing and mastering, and I'm so happy with the final track, how it came out. Honestly, it would not have come out how it did without the Kala instruments, so I'm so glad that I had them. They made it perfect, and I think it's so cool that they really got to shine on this song. So go check out the final song. It's called Happy Place. I would love to hear what you think about it, and thank you so much to Kala for supporting me as an artist, for making these incredible instruments, and really making the song a possibility. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Alyssa Trahan. Bye!